What's up, fuckers? It's tea time. Today's guest has fragility wider than a Victorian child with an iron deficiency. Let's give a warm, underfunded, overregulated Texas welcome to migrant trafficker and transphobia strategist Lone Star Lucifer, a pale male that belongs in jail. My governor, Greg Abbott, is a clinically unseasoned, tepid old fart who governs with all the warmth of a body bag. He's been constipated since Reagan and has opinions older than the Civil War. He's channeling dead racists and making sure they have company. The only thing consistent about his policies is the rising death toll. It's higher than the minimum wage he refuses to raise. After all, his scalp is more visible than his humanity. He says he's pro-life, but he sure seems to enjoy the rattle of a coroner's gurney. Texas leads the nation in executions, and our maternal mortality rate is one of the worst. His legacy has become a mass grave paved in loopholes and campaign donations. Morals don't cut checks. That's why he's running Texas like a Hunger Games district. Entertain the rich, sacrifice the rest, and the odds never in our favor. Not even for the animals. Cruella, Dewheel vetoed an animal cruelty bill so the animals can have the same rights as women. Because in Texas, worth isn't measured in spots, it's tracked in cycles. He wants 101 ovulations, not Dalmatians. He wants a government small enough to fit inside your state-sanctioned uterus. Because nothing says freedom like forced breeding under the watchful eye of the state. But he isn't stopping at reproductive freedom. He wants your ability to vote, your library card, and apparently my last damn nerve. The only thing progressing in Texas is the fucking arthritis in his donor-sponsored wrists from signing so many regressive bills. He may have lost his legs in '84, but he has sold his soul voluntarily. He's shrinking everything except his donors' bank accounts and the distance between church and state. Because his idea of being a public servant is making sure the public serves him. Greg's the perfect example of what happens when a check clears before a conscience does. He treats mass shootings like unpreventable natural causes and natural disasters like pop-up shops for profit. When the power grid collapsed, people froze to death, and Gregory's donors made millions from his deregulation, and he rolled away with campaign checks thicker than the irony of a wheelchair-bound man weakening disability rights. Texas may be the only place where the power grid and the moral compass collapse in the same storm, but he don't need a compass. He's got a wallet full of directions. Like, keep the power grid privatized and vulnerable because the fossil fuel industry profits off scarcity and disaster. That's why his disaster plans are, y'all stay safe and don't be gay. Who knew thoughtless ambition in a poorly tailored suit could make evil itself look so lazy? He got an international human rights condemnation when he lined the Rio Grande with razor-sharp sawtooth buoys. He said it was for border security, but I've seen less cruel setups in Saw films, and under Greg Saw, that's exactly what Texas is like. Choose between freezing to death in your own home or drowning in a river of razor wire. It's the only time he's pro-choice. He certainly isn't at the ballot box. He loves gerrymandering. It doesn't elect him anymore now that he's governor, but it rigs the system to keep white conservatives in power, which keeps him unchecked. Big oil funds him, gerrymandering protects him, and Texans pay the price. So the sick little Saw game rages on because this puppet's pulling the strings and the billionaires are pulling his. I want everybody to have a great fucking day unless you voted for a man who makes Scrooge look like a socialist.